tensions are flaring between the U.S. and Iran in the final hours of a fragile ceasefire. Preparations are underway in Pakistan for another round of peace talks, but it's unclear if that will even happen. President Trump says he's under no pressure to make a deal, and moments ago, he accused Iran of violating the ceasefire multiple times, and during a radio appearance last night, he claimed Iran would attack the U.S. if it had a nuclear weapon.
We're going to make sure that Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon, by the way. That's very close to being over, and we're going to make sure.
The Speaker of Iran's parliament cast more doubts on peace talks as well. In a social media post, he wrote, quote, "We do not accept negotiations under the shadow of threats." He also warned Tehran has prepared to reveal new cards on the battlefield. CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes joins us now. Nancy, good morning. What more are we hearing from both the U.S. and Iran on these potential ceasefire extension talks? It just seems like a deal is unlikely.
Errol, good morning. Yeah, things seem to be really up in the air right now. Everyone's talking tough with this ceasefire about to end. President Trump is saying that if there's no deal, quote, lots of bombs start going off, while the Iranians say they want the U.S. to release a ship it seized over the weekend. First, with a senior commander warning this morning that there will be an immediate and decisive response to any aggression from the U.S.
It's very close to being over.
In an evening radio interview, President Trump claimed the Iranians are coming to the table.
And if they don't, they're going to see problems like they've never seen before.
But earlier, Iran's parliamentary speaker said, "We do not accept negotiations under the shadow of threats. We have prepared to reveal new cards on the battlefield."
We have not reached an agreement.
Vice President J.D. Vance, who led the first round of talks in Pakistan, is poised to head there again for round two. But even that caused confusion Monday, with President Trump telling one news outlet that Vance was heading over now, then telling another that Vance would leave later in the day. But this morning, Vance still woke up in Washington.
No plan, no strategy, no clear objectives.
All of it providing more fodder for Democrats.
A big part of the problem right now, particularly as it relates to skyrocketing gas prices, is Donald Trump's reckless and costly war of choice.
On Monday, Trump rejected his energy secretary's estimate that gas prices likely won't drop below $3 a gallon until next year. "I think he's wrong on that," Trump said. Totally wrong.
You're going to see prices drop. You're going to see energy come down like you've never seen it before. All these things are going to happen. But most economists actually agree with the energy secretary. In fact, the government's own estimates, Errol, project that gas won't go back below $3 a gallon until at least 2027.
All right. Real wake-up call there, Nancy. Thank you. BBC News chief international correspondent Lyse Doucet is in the Iranian capital, and we should note she's reporting from Tehran on the condition none of her material is used on the BBC's Persian service. These restrictions apply to all international media organizations operating in Iran.
Iran continues to send mixed messages about these possible talks in Islamabad, and it really reflects the tight spot they're in. Officials tell us they want the talks with the United States to continue, but in public, officials are saying that no decision has been made yet about whether to go to Islamabad this week. There is deep distrust of this process here. Bear in mind that President Trump pulled out of the last nuclear accord in his first term, and the previous rounds of negotiations last year and this year were shattered by Israeli attacks. And Iran's negotiators face their own pressures at home. The hardliners, who now dominate the system, which emerged during this war, have very clear lines on how far they're willing to go to reach an agreement with Washington. They would clearly prefer a bad war to a bad deal. And Iranians themselves are divided. Most people want those sanctions to be lifted. Some are taking to the squares in Tehran and other cities every night in response to their government's call to show defiance and national unity. But others are staying away. They want not just economic change, but political change.
Lyse Doucet reporting there.